following is a feature presentation of the Replay Sports Channel, the home for great games.
Welcome to WFL Inside Access, exclusively on the Replay Sports Channel. I'm your host, Glenn Walker. Today's episode is brought to you by Royal Retros, your ultimate one-stop shop representing the teams of the past. Head over to Royal Retros today, royalretros.com, and use the discount code REPLAY to get 10% off your purchase. Link provided in the show description. We continue with our 2025 season preview with a look at the East Division. Our Inside Access crew takes a look at each club and makes some bold predictions for the season ahead.
What really makes a division, compelling in sports? Is it just pure star power? Or maybe those dramatic turnarounds?
Or that feeling of unpredictability when things are just starting fresh.
Exactly. And this season, it feels like the WFL's American Conference North has all of that colliding. It looks really exciting.
It's a pretty fascinating setup, isn't it? I mean, this division, it feels like more than just football. It's kind of a study in resilience, strategic pivots, high-stakes gambles, all the stuff that defines a new season.
Absolutely. And for our deep dive today, we're digging right into the WFL Inside Access 2025 season preview, specifically that North Division.
Right.
Our goal here, basically pull out all the critical insights, every key nugget of info from those team breakdowns, the stats, coaching moves, expert predictions, everything.
We're aiming to give you that sort of informed edge, right? Get you quickly up to speed on the unique story, the key players for all five teams.
Yep, that's the Chicago Fire, Cleveland Gladiators, Detroit Wheels, Pittsburgh Maulers, and the St. Louis Battlehawks.
We're going to unpack why each team's outlook feels so different and, what key factors you should really be watching as the season gets going.
Okay, let's jump straight in then. Chicago Fire, their 2024 felt a bit Jekyll and Hyde. Started 3-4, but then they really caught fire.
Yeah, they finished strong, 4-3, got into the playoffs.
He even pulled off that stunner. The Western wildcard upset over the Aztecs down in Mexico City.
Huge win before their run ended against Vegas.
What's really interesting, though, is how their offense kind of kept them grounded through that turnaround.
Definitely. Top 10 finish in total offense, rushing, and passing. That's solid. And Baker Mayfield.
Oh, wow. He was something else.
Yeah, I mean, a top 5 passing performance, over 4,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions. That's not just good stats. It kind of signals a shift, right?
How so?
Well, it's like a high percentage low-risk passing game. Let them control the tempo, cut down turnovers. Huge upgrade from previous years.
And he wasn't doing it alone either. David Montgomery, Western Conference All-Star, right? Over 760 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns.
Yep.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown, another 1,000-yard season receiving. Consistent.
Plus, don't forget about Jahmyr Gibbs. Second year, feels like he could break out, and they grabbed that tackle, Talise Faraga, in the draft.
From Oregon State. Good move to help the O-line. So, yeah, the offensive firepower, it seems like it's there.
The big question mark, though, seems to be the defense.
That's the challenge, yeah. Ranked 15th overall last season. Okay, against the run, 10th, but 14th against the pass. Yeah. That's a bit of a worry, which makes that Cameron Jordan signing seem pretty critical, right? Getting him from Tampa Bay, the champs.
Absolutely critical. It shows they know where the weakness is, that pass rush, and they're actively trying to fix it. Elevate the whole unit.
And we got to mention special teams. Cameron Dicker, just lights out.
Perfect on PATs, 46 for 46, and 34 of 37 field goals, all-star performance.
Plus, Coach John Harbaugh. Oh, he's right on the edge of history. One more win gets him to 100 career victories.
That's big. Only, 7 coaches in WFL history have done that?
Exactly.
That kind of milestone, it can be a real rallying point for a team. Gives them something tangible to shoot for beyond just winning the next game.
Mark DeLuca at the Chicago Sun-Times seems to think so. He wrote, the Chicago Fire finally has some sparks on both sides of the ball heading into 2025.
Right. He highlighted Harbaugh's, quote, attacking mindset and Mayfield's poise.
But he did call the defense a question mark, especially that secondary.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus concern.
His prediction, if they can split their road games and sweep at home, they could sneak into the playoffs, which sounds about right for a crowded division.
And he picked Cameron Jordan as his breakout player watch. Called him a one-man wrecking crew on the edge.
So beyond just sacks, what does a guy like Jordan really mean for that defense? Especially when they kind of struggled there.
Yeah.
And how much does Harbaugh chasing 100 wins actually boost morale?
Okay, so a one-man wrecking crew like Jordan. Look, it's not just his stats. It fundamentally changes how the other team has to block.
Right, double teams.
Exactly. He forces double teams, makes them shift protection, and that opens up chances for everyone else on the D-line. That's the real impact. He makes a whole defense potentially better.
Okay.
And Harbaugh's milestone. It's a clear sign of sustained success, right? It gives that locker room a shared sense of purpose, pride, that can absolutely pull a team together, especially when things get tough mid-season.
Moving on then. Cleveland Gladiators. What a roller coaster 2024 they had.
Seriously. Started 7-0. Incredible start.
And then, poof, hit a wall. Finished 2-5 down the stretch. Just inexplicable almost.
Yeah, that collapse really highlights how volatile their season was. They still got a playoff win, though, over Birmingham.
True, but then came that Tampa Bay game in the divisional round. 55-3. Ouch.
A crushing end. But look, their offense was consistently elite all year. Top 5 in total, rushing, and passing yards.
And all 4 of their All-Stars came from offense. Keenan Allen, huge year. 104 catches, over 1,200 yards.
Monster numbers. But the offseason, massive changes.
Yeah, first the whole franchise relocates from Rome. That's disruptive enough.
Right. Building a new fan base, new identity.
And then they lose center Frank Ragnar to retirement. The guy who anchored a line that gave up only 12 sacks all year. That's a huge loss.
A massive hole. Even drafting Amarius Mims from Georgia, it's hard to replace that kind of linchpin instantly.
It's a lot of pressure on Coach Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And he's also dealing with a defense that needs rebuilding after losing key guys in free agency.
It is. They were top 10 overall, great against the run, third best, but 12th against the pass, and now losing pieces. That's tough.
Tasha Hendricks at the Plain Dealer kind of nailed the local feeling, didn't she? Cautiously optimistic, but with serious concerns.
Yeah, she pointed to talent at defensive end like Cameron Hayward, but warned about that secondary depth being razor thin.
And her big takeaway was pretty blunt. Cleveland have to win shootouts to stay competitive.
Which led her to predict them as fun to watch, but not quite playoff ready.
Okay, so how does a team manage that? Being fun to watch, winning shootouts, but maybe not having the defense for a deep run, and strategically, what's the impact of both moving cities and losing a key leader like Ragnow at the same time?
Well, that fun to watch tag often means you're going to see high scores both ways, high variance, big wins, maybe some bad losses, puts enormous pressure on the offense to be perfect and the coaches to somehow scheme around defensive issues.
Right.
And the combined hit of relocation and retirement, it's huge. You're not just integrating players, you're building a whole new team culture in a new city while trying to fill a massive leadership gap on the field. That challenges chemistry, continuity, everything.
Okay, let's shift to the Detroit Wheels. Talk about sweeping change.
Yeah.
Their 2024 was basically over before it started.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles in preseason, that just doomed them. Finished 2-12. A season to forget.
You just burned the tape. Right.
Yeah.
And the offseason showed they felt the same way. Total overhaul.
Absolutely. Rodgers moved, TJ Watt moved, both to Arizona. Coach Dan Campbell fired the day after the season. Just a complete reset.
And stepping into that void is Kellen Moore, the former Birmingham OC, as the new head coach.
Interesting hire. Offense was only 15th last year, so they needed a spark.
And they made a big move in the draft, taking LSU QB Jalen Daniels second overall.
High expectations there. And they seem excited about that undrafted running back. Chase Brown looks like he might be the main guy on the ground.
Even with all that mess last year, Travis Kelce was still Travis Kelce. Led the league with 112 catches, his 8th All-Star nod.
Incredible consistency. He's such a valuable anchor. But defensively, losing TJ Watt is a massive blow. They were already 19th against the pass.
So middle linebacker Bobby Wagner becomes even more crucial, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He'll have to be that coach on the field, guiding a unit that's likely changing scheme under Moore and dealing with personnel losses.
Leo Morris at the Detroit Free Press, though, he sounds kind of optimistic. Says, don't sleep on the wheels.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, no, Daniels looks sharp in training camp, praises Moore's run-heavy system that's built for cold weather domination.
Interesting angle. Run heavy with a rookie QB.
He even highlighted Week 4 against Chicago. Says an upset there could take control of the division. Bold call.
Very bold.
And his dark horse MVP, running back Chase Brown, says he has small size but surprising breakaway speed.
Okay, so With a new coach, rookie QB, this dark horse RB, how much can a team really change its whole identity in just one offseason? And what are the biggest hurdles for that run-heavy system against the tough defenses in the North?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A total identity shift in 1 year is, incredibly ambitious. The talent brings excitement, sure. But for a run-heavy system, the hurdles are consistency and adaptability.
Yeah.
Meaning, can they still run when teams stack
Yeah.
the box, knowing it's coming? Can Daniels make enough plays through the air when the run isn't working? It puts immense pressure on the O-line to just dominate and on a rookie QB to avoid those killer mistakes in tough spots. It's definitely a high-wire act. Okay, let's pivot to the Pittsburgh Maulers. Another team undergoing a kind of rebirth. Finished 3-11 last year as the Berlin Thunder.
Yeah, and their coaching change was pretty dramatic, too, firing Kyle Shanahan. That apparently shocked most experts and came later than expected.
But the big headline, Mike Tomlin returning to Pittsburgh to lead the Maulers.
That's huge. A proven leader, championship pedigree. That's a franchise-altering kind of hire for a team looking to completely redefine itself.
Offensively, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But he needs a bounce-back year, right? After 20 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. That's un-Mahomes-like.
Definitely an outlier season for him. He'll be looking to clean that up. George Kittle, though, was still reliable.
Yeah, over 1,200 yards receiving. All-star again. And they got him a big new weapon in the draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State.
That could be massive for Mahomes' rebound. Gives him that true #1 target. Defensively, though, that's where a lot of the blame fell last year, 17th overall.
And you know Tomlin's going to focus there. A total overhaul is expected. They did add safety Justin Reed from D.C. in free agency.
Solid veteran piece. But Chuck Reinhardt at the Post-Gazette really summed it up, didn't he? The Maulers enter 2025 with the league's youngest roster and, arguably, its most uncertain identity.
Yeah, he mentions the new GM, Austin Ham, has gone all in on development, using 4 draft picks just on offense, but warns inexperience will be an issue.
Expects a lot of growing pains, especially on offense. Timing, chemistry, that stuff takes time.
But he offered a sliver of hope for fans, maybe. The Maulers may be bad, but they'll be exciting. Lots of fourth-quarter fireworks and a probably heartbreak.
Oof, the exciting but heartbreaking kind of bad.
So what does that uncertain identity really mean for a pro team day-to-day? And how much excitement can fourth-quarter fireworks actually provide if it usually ends in heartbreak?
Well, uncertain identity means they're still figuring out who they are. What's their core strength? What's the strategy? What's the team culture? It implies, maybe a lack of clear direction on the field and off.
And the fireworks ending badly.
For fans, that's tough. Thrilling for a moment, but constantly losing close games. That wears you down, erodes confidence, team morale too. It shows potential, yeah, but also a real lack of execution or maybe composure when it counts. That's a big part of the development needed for a young team getting over that hump.
Definitely a fine line there for the fans. Okay, finally, let's talk St. Louis Battlehawks. They're always pegged as the division's most dangerous contender, it seems.
Consistently strong. Didn't win the division last year for the first time in 3 seasons, finished 8-6.
But still made a deep playoff run. Beat Arizona, got that sweet revenge upset over Memphis.
Yeah, before falling to Vegas in the conference championship. They know how to win in January, even if they weren't division champs.
Their offense was #2 in the league last year. Tua Tagovailoa leading the way, 4,800 yards, 32 touchdowns. Impressive stuff.
Very impressive. Although, 24 interceptions, that's the number he absolutely needs to bring down if they want to reach the very top.
Yeah, that's a key point. And the team's running game overall needs improvement too, right? Finished 13th last season.
It does. That's an area they could shore up, but the defense, wow.
The league's best total defense last year.
#1. And most starters are back. That's scary news for the rest of the division.
And they added shutdown corner Terrion Arnold.
Just piling on. That's a huge pickup for an already elite unit. A true shutdown guy doesn't just erase one receiver. He gives the coordinator so much more freedom with blitzes and coverages elsewhere.
And like Harbaugh in Chicago, Chip Kelly in St. Louis is also nearing a milestone. Needs 10 wins for 100 in his career.
Another coach chasing history. Corey Fields at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch seems convinced, called them one of the league's most dangerous teams.
He thinks the offense, with Tua and rookie WR Ladd McConkey, could be the best in the North.
High praise. McConkey could be a nice addition there.
And Fields doubles down on the defense, returns 8 starters and added Terrion Arnold. He basically says St. Louis fans are already thinking of the Pantheon Bowl title.
The expectations are clearly sky high there.
So how much does a shutdown corner like Arnold really elevate a defense that was already number one? And can a team truly have championship Pantheon Bowl aspirations if that running game is still just okay, especially in crunch time?
Look, even the best defense gets better, more versatile, more aggressive with a true shutdown corner. It unlocks schematic options. But the running game, that's a legitimate question for a championship hopeful.
Why is it so crucial?
Because relying too heavily on the pass, especially with a QB who, let's be honest, had a high interception number last year, makes you potentially predictable, vulnerable. In the playoffs, against elite teams, you often need a reliable run game to grind out clock, convert short yardage, and win those tough physical games. Balance becomes key.
Right. Well, there you have it. You've gotten the inside track, the shortcut, to understand the WFL North Division. We've really seen a whole spectrum of stories here.
Yeah, from established contenders like St. Louis to these ambitious rebuilds in Detroit and Pittsburgh.
And in Chicago and Cleveland, where there's high hopes, but also some pretty big question marks.
It's definitely a division packed with compelling narratives, a ton of potential, and yeah, plenty of unanswered questions going into 2025. Really captures the unpredictable nature of this league.
So, thinking about this whole mix, the vets, the rookies, the coaching changes, what single factor do you think ultimately defines success or failure for these North Division teams this year? Is it the impact of that new talent? Is it coaching stability or maybe instability? Or just the raw strength of their defense?
That's a tough one. Lots to weigh there.
Something for you to think about as the season.
You've been listening to WFL Inside Access Show. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. On our next episode, our 2025 season preview continues with a look at the South Division. See you next time.